Doing something as precise as hitting a gap for a full body motion like the backhand throw can be pretty difficult. So these are our 3 tips to help you aim your backhand better. When trying to hit a gap, it can be tempting to look at it and keep your eyes on it as you reach back. But what this does is it usually keeps your head turned a little bit too far forward, and that prevents your shoulders from turning, which kind of starts you at this rounded reach back point and ends up messing up your whole throw. Now, technically, it is possible to get a full reach back while still keeping at least the very corner of your eye on the target, but it's kind of hard to do. And so I think it's much better to learn some of the other ways that we'll cover to aim later in this video, and trust yourself that you'll hit the gap and confidently reach back and take your eyes off the target. Most of us, at least when we start out, we do our footwork relative to the tee pad. And that means for most of us, we start off at the back right corner and we finish at the front left, which kind of works for getting your weight shifted into your heel as you brace, and usually the tee pad is pointed in the right direction. But if you're trying to hit something small like a gap, it might not be in the right spot relative to the tee pad. So it's important to know how to do your throw independent of where the tee pad is. Now, when we do our footwork, my plant foot is going to be offset from my back foot by a few inches, but if I were to draw a line kind of in between those 2 feet, that's going to be the direction that my weight is shifting as I'm throwing. If I'm doing everything properly and I'm getting a good weight shift and my whole body has generated a lot of force in that direction, in the direction of that line, there's not going to be a whole lot that my hand can do to take the disc off of that line. So one thing that might help you hit gaps is to throw your weight at the gap and trust that you'll release it and hit the gap with your hand, just as a result of having so much momentum going the direction that you need it to. And the last way to aim your backhand is to aim with your backswing. It's incredibly common for players to round or to reach the disc kind of across their body as they reach back. And what that does is it creates a curved pull. And so the disc is going to release at any point along that curve dictated by your grip strength. So if you grip it a little bit tighter, it's going to go right, or if it slips out a little bit early, it'll go left. But this is not nearly as consistent as pulling the disc straight, because if your hand is a little bit wet or it's slick, then it'll go early, or if the humidity drops by just a little bit, or if there's a little bit of sweat on your hand, or who knows what could happen. Lots of factors are going to dictate the little bit of change that happens right as the disc releases. It's much more consistent to pull the disc straight. And the convenient thing about a straight line is that it extends behind you as well. So when I'm really focusing on hitting a gap in front of me, I imagine where the line to hit that gap would start behind me. And as I'm reaching back, I make sure and start the disc on that line. And that's going to let me pull it straight through, and I have a mental note, a mental track to pull the disc along that will help me hit that gap a lot more consistently. But all of these ways to hit gaps are going to require a lot of practice. Nobody goes from throwing bombs out in a field, never having seen a tree on a disc golf course, to being able to hit 3-foot wide gaps 100 feet down the fairway. There's argument to be made about how many people can even hit 3-foot wide gaps 100 feet down the fairway. But if you want to get better at doing that, the best thing you can do is improve your form and practice. Those are our 3 tips to help aim your backhand better. Let us know any tips that you have down in the comments below, or whether you play in a more wooded area and you have to work on hitting gaps, or whether you struggle with more open shots where you don't really have many points of reference to aim your shots. Regardless, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more tips on how to become a better disc golfer from Dynamic Discs, and we'll see you next time.